All right. Welcome to Rapid Fire Manufacturing. I'm with Aaron Morrill, and he is the owner of Machine Tool Services out in Spokane, Washington. Aaron, thank you so much for joining. I see your stuff all over Instagram and LinkedIn, and I really enjoy those educational pieces that you put out.
Hi, David. Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's good to be chatting about the industry, the people, the equipment. And from my viewpoint, what I'm looking at is getting people trained and helping people who are trying to fix their own machines. So that's kind of the two things that I'm focused on.
That's awesome. I want to get into your background first, kind of how you started and where you see that you're heading towards.
Yeah, it's definitely a family business here. My dad was a CNC technician. Started working for Closing right out of high school. And so traveled around with the salesman and sold a did repair. And then he started working for Selway after that. Selway kind of grabbed him, and he was the first kind of employee, the guy who started at Selway and did service and grew with them as they grew. So Selway's a big diva here on the West Coast,
Oh yeah.
sells several different brands. And so then in the 90s, him and my mom decided they wanted to move to Spokane, kind of get out of California, get out of the rush. And so he moved up here thinking he'd find some work somewhere and ended up starting just doing, uh, freelance CNC repair. And with all the contacts he knew, he'd go around and do work for different dealers like Ellison and who was selling DMG or Maury at that time. And he was still doing work for Ellis Machinery, who was selling Fadal, and there was people sell. So he brought a lot of his contacts with him and kind of grew his service business. And then later in the 90s, we started doing a lot of work for the Haas dealership who was selling Haas machines. So that's kind of our foot in the door with them and learning those machines. It helped a lot in Idaho and Montana. And then, you know, 2018, 2019, things kind of shifted in the work that we were doing. And since then, we've been doing a lot of online stuff. And I've watched my dad hire and train technicians, and some of them retire and some of them leave and some of them go to other dealers, and we hire and train and we hire and train. And then the other people that we work with in the industry are people that we trained. So that's always fun to,
Yeah.
have people move and still know them and know that they work for us, and we got them into it. And I'm in the middle of training a guy right now I hired a month ago. I've got a guy who's been with us 2 years. And so, I totally agree with the saying that says you pay to train or you pay because you don't train. I hear a lot of customers, people online, people email me complaining about the technician that came out. He didn't know anything or he didn't do a good job. And I'm like, it's not the tech's fault. It's the guy who trained him. It's the guy who scheduled him to go
Yeah.
there. So I'm not going to throw another technician under the bus, but I'll throw his boss under the bus and say, you should not have sent that guy there who did a bad job, who you look bad now and he looks bad. And almost would have been better to just not send him and make the guy wait.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What was your first experience with a CNC machine?
A lot of the shops
Or
that
or
we,
should I start with like were you working with manual lathes or anything like that or manual?
we have I grew up, I mean, in our shop house kind of slash business where our office is, and we have an engine lathe there. We had an email. So I grew up running parts on that, just in the shop, making stuff with my dad. And then very young, he'd go to do new installs in small shops or you do repairs, and he'd just take me with me. So there's a ton of shops that I work at now that I installed their machines 20 years ago. You know,
That's crazy.
so, uh, 10 years old, I could power up a Haas, home it, zero return it, change tools, jog it around, level it. I probably did 50 to 100 installs by the time I was 15.
Wow.
So
I don't hear that often. That's
the,
insane. Yeah.
the machines from the 2005 to 2015 era, I know very well because I was installing them and doing warranty work on them as a teenager.
Wow, that's very cool. Um, and now, so how was that? You're traveling with your dad on, when he's doing local stuff. Um, so what age did you fully start in the business then?
A little bit delayed. I went to a high school in Canada, so kind of a boarding academy. So I wasn't around a lot when I was, in high school. But as soon as I could drive, I mean, it was Aaron, take this part, go put it on this machine. So I remember being 16 and going out in our family truck and going and putting a cylinder on a machine because I knew how to do it. So that was right away. As soon as I turned 18, I was flying across the country doing military subcontracting for some of the work that we do. And I remember going to a base and the guy at the base making fun of me because I couldn't drink a beer, but I was there to fix his horizontal. And I'm like, I can fix your horizontal, dude. I know how to fix machines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is awesome.
I rented a lot of cars 18, 19, 20. But, by the time I was 19, I was out of high school working full time basically and going to electronics school. So I'd go to school from like 6 to noon. I'd work from noon to 5 or 6 at a machine shop with one of my dad's technicians in the afternoon. And then I was building a tiny house slash cabin on our property. So for 2 years in college, I worked 18-hour days from about 6 to midnight, where school, work, and then building a house in the dark all winter long. So that was some rough time.
Wow. Now you're just doing it for the business.
Yeah, I still worked that
Minus
many
the cabin.
hours, minus
Yeah.
minus building a cabin.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So you got the mechanical side, and then you went to school to get the kind of electrical side of things?
Yeah, electronics is the hardest part to learn. I've seen my dad, he'll say this and I know it. We can hire a guy who's, you know, semi-machine savvy. We can teach him the machine part. That's easier taught than electrical troubleshooting. So in today's world, you need to know networking. You need to understand fiber technology, CAN bus. You need to understand, uh, like IP, a lot of IP, and a lot of electrical troubleshooting, which is the same as technology, same troubleshooting skills as it was 10 years ago or 15, but there's
Mhm.
more of it today. So the electronics side, I learned in school. There are people I know in the industry who are smart enough and motivated enough to learn it not in school, but you have to be very motivated. It's much easier to learn it in a classroom and learn those formulas and really understand voltage and current and frequency and how they all work together for component level troubleshooting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so how I know of you is, well, through Instagram, CNC Repairman. How did that come about?
It's fuzzy to me. I mean, I was working a bunch and traveling, and I was playing on Instagram. That was the hip thing to do, 2016. And so I was like, I don't know, I was in my friend's apartment one weekend, a couple hours away where he was going to college, and I was like, I'm going to start a work repairman page. And he's like, do you think you'll get a lot of followers? I was like, I don't care. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm just going to post what I do because nobody's doing this. And so then I mean, it was awful, dude. I can't spell. I thought I was gonna watermark all my pictures. So like all my pictures has this big red letter CNC repair. Like it was ugly, man. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But I just started posting every day. Just started posting and posting. And like I remember I got like 5,000 followers and I was like, this is so cool. And then you look at the metric and like 80% of them are from Pakistan. And I'm like, that's useless. Um, and it grew and it grew. And now like 2020 changed a lot of social media, and you think you know something about social media and you don't. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm at this point, I'm agnostic. I don't care anymore. I don't care about views. I don't care about followers. Like I just don't give a rip. I'm gonna do what I do and keep doing it, and I'll post some of it online. So uh yeah. One thing other service technicians message me, guys who want to be independent or are independent, and ask me, hey, we're gonna try to build our social media following. And I'm like, dude, just hand out 50 business cards. Like, I'm not joking. On less than one hand, I can count the number of local service customers we have because of Instagram. And I have 30 some thousand followers. I mean, like, no, like, so Instagram's great, but it's not going to build your service business. It hasn't affected ours, you know, not even 1/10 of 1%. A few people who are like in their garage, who've moved to the area, who messaged me, hey, can you come help me fix my robo drill? That was like the first guy who like, I was like, oh, a customer from Instagram. I'd already been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah. Well, so that's interesting because yeah, I kind of hear the other side, like, more for, like, machine shops, like, "Oh, we got business through, our Instagram posts." But so you're saying on more of, like, the service side, it's not as common?
No, I mean, I will say, I'm not trying to say Instagram is not worth doing. I
Yeah.
get plenty of business for our parts business. So people message me in Florida, hey, my machine's got a 626 tool changer alarm. And at the beginning, I tell the guy, okay, you need to buy this part from your HFO. Here's how I fix it. And I just was trying to help. And then I'm like, wait a minute, like, why don't I source these parts and give the guy a part link where he could buy it from me and have a video about how to do it? And so that kind of grew the part business out of Instagram. Extremely hard. I mean, it's hard work doing what I'm doing. So like I wouldn't wish the hard work I'm doing on anybody. It is very, very hard. So if you want to build a little fancy business where you sell a widget, Instagram probably is a great place for that because you can have a very niche following of people who want the golf putter or the fancy pocket knife or the fidget spinner. That's great. But like to convert someone from an Instagram follower to a customer who's going to call you and pay you in person to do service work, I don't have great success stories from that. It's less than 5.
No, that makes sense. So on the parts business, how did that come about? Like, well, you kind of explained that. You saw a need through an HFO and decided, hey, well, why I can do this. And so are you making videos where maybe you talk about, for example, a solenoid, and then afterwards you can be like, hey, we also, if you're looking for this type of solenoid, we had it available.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I try hard not to like oversell or overdo the call to action stuff. I mean, there's people, big meaty people, and like, man, every other sentence it's buy my book. Every other sentence it's sign up for my video class. And I just like to have the exact opposite. Like, if you need me, we're here, we're
Yes.
available. When you need us, okay, go fix your machine. Like the phone will ring because that type of attitude, I think, is just more the attitude that you want. I just want to be the friendly repair guy who's not trying to sell you stuff. If I can fix your machine over the phone without you buying a part and you're back up and running, you're making money faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, it's like if I watch a video of something where they educate me when I need that part, odds are I'm going to go to that person that educated me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to remind people our overnight shipping cutoff is 4 p.m. If you need a part, we have it, but don't call it 4:05. We're on the way to the airport.
Yeah.
So, things like that are little calls to action, but overall, it's like trying to advertise windshields. Nobody wants a windshield till theirs is busted.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Getting into service techs right now, we're at least I've seen that we need more of them. How
Hmm.
do you get people interested in becoming service techs?
um, both the one of my previous techs that we hired and the one that we have right now, both got interested in CNC because of the Titans of CNC videos. And so I'm like very thankful like to them for the
Yeah.
videos they've produced because that's how we've got 2 people. One guy was working in a cabinet shop and wanted to get out of it and saw the Titans of CNC videos. Another guy, now he got into machining and then came to service. The other guy was going to school to be a mechanical engineer and decided enough of this, I'm going to do machining. Um, I mean, interest, the service techs that I know love their work. And so I think I love my work. And I think the more that we tell and explain to people, this is a fun job. Here's the perks. Here's the benefits. The pay is good. The satisfaction is high. Uh, that's one way we're going to get people interested in it. And I am attempting to do that through the social media stuff. Uh, it's a few years on road, long runway to get a good technician. At least in our business, we're not going to hire somebody and send them out on their own right away. And so they're going to work
Yeah.
one-on-one. The technicians that I know who are great have a similar story where they had an apprentice, they had an old guy they worked with for a few years, and they learned everything they could from that guy. And then before they were out working on their own, I talked with another tech this week who was at a large OEM service meeting and they were going to start contacting him to do service for them through them. And he said they had over 100 machines down in Texas that week that they couldn't get to and 50 in another city. And it's like, you know,
Whoa.
they maybe only have 15 technicians, it's going to take 10 weeks for them to get to all those broken machines.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So we've got 4 techs, including myself, and we're usually out a week to 2 weeks all the time. So, anywhere between 3 and 10 broken machines at a time. A good customer of ours wanted me to come right away last week on Monday. And I said, the soonest I can come is Wednesday. And I was there on Wednesday this week and looked at their Fadal. I mean, I wish I could come faster and they've got nobody to call. It's sad, but that's the truth.
Yeah. No, I hear a similar thing. It's like, hey, we need more, quicker lead times. And it's like, I mean, it's everywhere. So when you're talking about getting people into, is that the same with the newer generation? It seems like the titans of CNC, um, online platforms like yours, like the more we get this material out to people, it's going to be like, wow, I can see myself going out there and learning this.
A story, someone messaged me a month or two ago, and he was friends with a Selway technician, and he had graduated from an A&P airframe and power plant course. So he was, the people who go through that are electrical mechanical. They're good maintenance, mechanics. And he said, "Hey, I'm considering doing CNC repair, working for Selway. Like, I know you're an outside opinion. What's your thought?" And I messaged him and I said, "I know people who like my age who have gone through A&P courses. I went to school with a bunch of guys who were avionic techs for airplanes." I said, "And I'm in the CNC world. So here's my 2 cents." I said, "You'll have better hours working as a CNC tech. You'll be in control of your schedule. You'll probably get more satisfaction. And if you can repair CNC machines and you're good at it, you'll probably be able to repair a lot of other things. Airplanes or engines and airplanes. So you could be a great airplane tech too." And he messaged me back and goes, "Wow, that's the same thing I was thinking. Being an airplane tech, it's a long time to be senior. You're working nights, like it's cold." I said, between the two, I don't hate aviation. It's great. Do it. I would choose to be, a CNC tech if you have the opportunity to train with somebody, a good company, and learn. Um, that's a good on ramp or on ramp to becoming a CNC tech. Is getting that A&P background. But people are reaching out. They're looking at what I'm doing and going, "Oh, that seems interesting." Um, you sort of work your own hours. You show up at the shop when you show up, and they're happy to see you, and you're there until you fix it, and then you go back home. So it's
Yeah.
if you're super social, it's nice because you get to be with other people, but then you don't really get to work with your coworkers. Like we all work by ourselves independently.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. You, especially if you're maybe a larger machine, you may have your coworkers with you on certain applications, but for the most part, it's everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
It's very rare that we just the reality of it, two guys at two different jobs fixes machines faster than two guys at one job.
Ah,
And,
okay.
and unless we're doing training, but um, occasionally we'll like customer will want to pack up their whole machine shop and they want to be down the least amount of time. And so we'll have two people packing machines, getting ready for rigging, but they're usually working on different machines at the same time. So every once in a while, there's some big machine shops in Spokane that have big horizontals that have 30 feet of travel. And sometimes we need a guy in the electrical cabinet and a guy at the motor or the proc switch on the phone troubleshooting together. And so in that case, we'll have two guys, but most customers don't want to pay for two billable guys.
Yeah.
They want one person there to come and fix it.
Yeah. That makes sense. So if you could go back in time and give yourself some advice getting into this industry, what would that be?
Work less, try not to do it all at once. Um,
Now, now, how about for someone other than yourself? Because I know you're probably going to be more critical on yourself than
yeah,
someone else, right?
I mean, I've got plenty of like accessory ideas and things that like, "Oh, I'm going to sell this." And I tell all the places I go to, "You should buy this." And then it's like, nobody wants to buy the thing I'm trying to sell. So that's, the people like the technician who's not trying to sell anything. But I mean, to give like a technician some advice or someone who's thinking about becoming a CNC repair guy, like, you need to have some hobbies outside of what you do that are really applicable to your daily job. So like I'm into ham radio, but wireless stuff. Um, I've rebuilt a couple of cars. I mean, most people are already doing that, but um, being really excited about something and passionate about whatever it is, photography, videography, gardening, means you're probably going to be passionate about your work. So if you're not
Yeah.
passionate about some thing that you're doing, you're probably not going to love whatever you do. Um,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
yeah, that's powerful
I've heard,
right there.
I've heard that in some good leaders and people I admire who have run big companies, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't really care what the person's experience is. Like, are you into photography? Are you good? Are you into music? Are you good?" Like, because that same quality is going to factor right into your work.
Yeah, because what's the other saying? It's like how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
very very much so. So like, if you're thinking about becoming a CNC technician, like why not get a cool hobby that you like that's related to it? Ham radio is an easy one because you need to learn and study all the electronics, understand wireless communication, and a little bit of networking and propagation and formulas. And like all of that applies, in the machine tool world where there's lots of math.
Yeah, absolutely. So how is the and maybe this is a probably a rabbit hole, but how do you see the technology changing in these CNC machines? Because it seems more and
Rapidly.
more. Yeah, yeah.
I try to go to every show I can to be up to date on the new technology and see where technology and the industry is going. It's 5-axis very soon. Um,
Hmm.
I was just at the big show in Germany, and Siemens and Heidenhain are leading the way, uh, in my opinion. But talk to people who know Fanuc is Fanuc and Mitsubishi. It's like, okay, well, how? I mean, maybe I was at a European show, but like all the new machines that are multi-axis, high speed, full simultaneous are running Siemens and Heidenhain. And then the argument, it's as only as good as your CAM system. Yes. Well, you need to be in a CAM system weekly. Um, I can't. I got a business to run. I've got a few people who work for me who are in a CAM system. I got a family. I got other stuff I'm doing. I
Yeah.
can't be doing all of it. I'd love to. It'd be really fun to be really, really good at at programming and fixturing, but I know great people who are doing that. So I lean heavily on that space. But I would say being a CNC tech, I wouldn't say you need to go jump into a CAM software and learn a CAD CAM system. That will help you, yes, but you need to know NP, 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 3-wire, 2-wire proc switches and syncing and sourcing. More importantly, then you need to know CAM.
Wow. Okay. Is there anything specifically you wanted to mention on this too? I like to always ask that. Like, there's something to bring up, something you're working on. Like,
I will say, here's a piece of advice that I've learned and that I've realized and I've has been taught to me is when you call a service company for help, not a service company, but or ours, or say you call an OEM, for example, you're going to call the service line, try to talk to somebody, get some help on a machine. We teach our guys, don't call for help, even call us for help. We're happy to answer questions until you've made a paper list of all the questions that you think they're going to ask you. Answer all those questions yourself. And then when they call and write them down, and then when you call the guy and he goes, well, have you tried this? Instead of hanging up and going, no, I haven't, I better go try that. You go, yeah, I tried this and here's my result. And then he'll ask you that question. And you'll say, yes, I've tried this and here's my result. And he'll ask you about 7 or 8 questions. And then you'll hear the guy on the phone just sigh because he's like, oh, this is going to be hard. And this guy's good. Like, so he's happy that he's not dealing with somebody who's like, machine won't turn on. Did you check the power? No. Check the power. Call me back. You're annoying. Hang up. Like,
yeah,
like, don't call somebody and say you have a tool changer problem until you've checked it with a split tool and you've checked the alignment and you know all the proc switches are good. So, people call us for service help and I'm pretty quick to go, check this, check this, check this, check this. And the guy's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, do you want my help or not? I'm really busy. Well, I just don't have time to check those. I don't have time to help you.
yeah,
Here's a video link. Here's a video link. Here's a video link. Call me back after you've done that. But usually I don't get a call back because in the video I showed them how to check alignment and their orientation was off and they fixed it and they're back running and good for them. And I'm not mad at them, but you need to be polite and courteous to the guy you're calling for help. And you can do that by calling him, having covered all your bases. And sometimes I called another Haas tech this week and said, I'm stumped. And the guy was amazing. He goes, I know you've done this, this, this. Yes, I have. He goes, yeah, one time I saw this problem, change this cable, even though it ohms good, change the cable because it might be bending. Change the cable, fix the problem. I called the guy back. I'll buy you lunch anytime, dude. So,
that's
you
sweet.
know,
So
so
so that's a good point. How important it is to network with other people in the industry so you can kind of share some of that knowledge.
yeah, I mean, most I'm busy on a machine. The guy calls busy on a machine. If he can help me fix my machine, he knows I'm going to go fix another machine, which is one less machine for him to fix, and he's probably busy. There's
Yeah.
not there's not a there's not an excess of technicians just waiting to go fix broken machines, and we're scrapping, fighting each other for the work. I mean, if I have a day off, I love it. It's like, you know, this and has had a great living and a great life. My dad's 70 now, and now he's handed the business over to me, and now I'm taking it and growing it. And that's business. That's, industry. That's family, people. That's the fun part about it.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in the Midwest who worked for a dealer, then worked for a customer, in-house maintenance, and hemmed and hawed with me for a year about going out on his own, and was afraid of how was he going to pay his bills, and would I make enough money? And over a year or two, if I only encouraged him, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Here's how I do it. Here's what we charge. Here's why. Here's our insurances. Here's expenses and things. And then hopefully you can still hear me. My phone just rang.
Yeah, no, I can.
Hopefully it
It's already
didn't.
starting. Yeah, your
Yeah,
customers calling.
already starting. Uh, he's working on his own. His son's working for him. He's got a part-time guy. So like, that's a cool success story. And I got like 10 of those where, people I know who have eventually gone out on their own, call me for help, and I don't mind. They call me for help when they work for somebody. And now it's like, I'm so happy for you. Another father-son company in Texas who was, the dad did service, the son has started learning service, and now they're working for Tesla doing service for them.
Oh,
And,
sweet.
calling me confused about lathe alignment stuff. And it's like, oh, I just did one of those. Have you checked this? Oh, wow, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, the industry is small, people know each other, and there will always be, in my opinion, a space for independent service techs. Always. We're not the people to call on a 1.5-year-old software problem on a brand new machine. We're not. We're the people to help, but on a little bit older machine, absolutely, absolutely. We're not going to replace a factory technician who knows all the ins and out of a brand new machine.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Aaron. I do appreciate your time. For those of you watching, check out his LinkedIn page, his Instagram, CNC Repairman, his videos, I'm sure, on YouTube and all of that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Enjoy it. If you have a broken machine, give us a call. We're here to help.